In this video, I'm going to explain how to prevent foil lift from happening on your earrings. In this video, I'm going to be using this clear iridescent textured, it's hammered glass, so it has these little bubbles in it. You can see that I have chosen a foil that is wide enough that I have good coverage on the edges. So that's super important. You usually want to stay away from 7/32. For earrings, you want to lean towards like 1/4 inch or maybe even a little bit bigger depending on how thick the glass is. But if the glass is too thick, then they're heavy. So usually I try to stay with 1/4 inch foil and glass that fits with that. I chose textured glass for this video because that's the most common glass that's going to give you foil lift. So you can see here in my burnishing technique, when I burnished, I made sure that I went in each of the creases of my texture. So these are really firmly burnished, but as I'm going to explain to you in this video, you want to continue to burnish throughout the process as you're cleaning the pieces. So I'm just going to start with some basic soldering. I use Canfield Technologies Liquid Flux. And you're gonna see that I have everything in these little containers. I use a paintbrush, a foam paintbrush, to apply my flux. The reason that I do that is so that I can thoroughly saturate each of my pieces. This causes my flux and my solder to run down on the edges and just makes the soldering of the complete piece much faster and more efficient. So I'm just kind of dabbing each one, making sure I saturate it really well. I'm going to use Mastercraft lead-free solder. This is my favorite solder. I use the solder to stabilize each of my pieces as I am soldering them. And I'm going to run my soldering iron a little hotter. I'm going to run it at 410 because lead-free solder melts at a higher temperature. So because we're running the soldering iron at 410, you have more of a chance to burn your foil. And what you want to not happen is you don't want to melt the glue underneath the foil so that it comes out the edges. So you want to make sure you're doing this process pretty quickly as you go around the edges. And if you aren't doing it quickly enough, you'll have to go back after they cool down and try again. All right, let's talk about soldering on jump rings. For your jump rings, you're gonna want something to stabilize your piece. I use this little jeweler's arm. I really like it. There's different models. I have a really big one that's kind of full of stuff right now, but I find that this is overkill. I just want something small for earrings. So I just have this little jeweler's arm. And I'm gonna use pliers, and I pick up my tiny jump rings, and then I make sure that the open end is at the bottom, and I'm gonna dip just the open part, just where the jump ring breaks. I'm gonna dip just that part into my flux. You don't want to dip the entire ring in. If your jump ring fills with flux, it's also gonna fill with solder when you hit it with the soldering iron. So you want to make sure that you just have a little tiny bit of flux on the end. Get a little bit of solder if you don't have any on your soldering iron. Usually like a little glob of solder will last for a few jump rings. And you're just gonna barely touch it. It's gonna make a sound. Hold it for a second and then let it go. All right, all the jump rings are on, and so we're ready to clean the flux off of them and apply patina. I use this quick clean solution to clean them off, so I'm gonna spray it onto both sides. All right, now we're trying to prevent foil lift. So I'm going to use paper towels. I use paper towels to clean everything and do everything. I prefer the Target brand of paper towel because it's the perfect absorbency. Bounty is too absorbent. and the cheap ones are not absorbent enough, so this is perfect. In this step, and you can't really see what my fingers are doing, but I can feel it, I'm continuing to burnish the foil on both sides with my fingers. So I have a thumb and a finger, and as I clean, I am going with the foil, and I'm making sure that I'm not going against it. So I don't want to lift the foil in this process because I am using a liquid, and there's flux on it. So there's 2 liquids on this now that we want to make sure is not trying to seep under our copper foil. So as you do this, you're continuing to burnish. You're burnishing with your fingers. You want to do this pretty quickly too. You never want to leave any of these liquids on for an extended period of time. So I do 1 tray of earrings at a time and from start to finish. Alright, next step is patina. We're going to apply patina. We're going to apply it with a paper towel also, and then we're going to clean it off with the quick clean. I'm going to use just a piece of a paper towel. This is the Novacan black patina. I don't have the bottle up here because it was the last of it, but I'm just going to roll the paper towel up. The patina is not something that you have to do either. You can be done in this step. If you like the edges to be a shiny silver color, I like the edges to have the antique blackened frame of the patina, and that is because I feel like it really makes the color, the iridescence of your glass, like for example, these are iridescent, or whatever the glass is, but it just makes the glass pop a lot more if you don't have that shiny silver border around it. So as I do this, you guessed it, I'm continuing to burnish. So with my patina, which I'm applying another liquid and a very corrosive liquid, I am actually bending this paper towel and squeezing the frame, squeezing the foil. So I'm continuing to burnish and press down the foil in this step also. So in every step that I'm coming into contact with the foil, my fingers are continuing to burnish that foil. Again, you're doing this as fast as possible, and depending on what kind of glass you have, you don't want to leave the patina on for too long. Yellow glass often picks up the rust from the patina process, and so you don't want to let it sit on your glass for too long because it can cause some discoloration on some of your glass. This glass, sometimes the iridescent film will pick up that rust or that brown, so this is one you don't want to leave on too long, but 1 pile like this isn't too bad. Alright, so we're going to clean these, and we're going to clean them real well with the quick clean. And you can see the rust coming up on the sides of this iridescent glass. So like I said, you want to get this off pretty much as quickly as possible. Continuing to burnish as I clean them off. We've got these beautiful pieces are finished now. So you want to continue to burnish in every step that you are coming into contact with your foil and you're cleaning off any kind of liquid solution. You're continuing to burnish with your thumb and your pointer finger. I hope this was helpful. I wish you luck. If you need any help, send me a message. Maybe we can troubleshoot together. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Good luck with making your earrings.